Welcome to the Sixcast, a podcast where we discuss real-world strategies, tips, and stories that provide helpful insights for your digital transformation experience.
Thank you for joining in for another episode of Sixcast. Today we'll be talking to Waruna, and we'll be talking about his CEO story. Part one will be the journey in growing up in Sri Lanka and how it has really motivated him to start his own business and how it created a curiosity and thirst for innovation.
You're asking me what was your childhood dream, right? I always wanted to be a CEO of a company.
Okay.
Right. Many people wanted to be either, especially typical Sri Lankan people, they want to be a doctor, engineer, lawyer.
They want traditional careers. So things that will create permanency and have a lot more of
comfort and
stability.
And pension.
They're looking for stability, and they want financial stability, and they want their kids to be financially okay. And they'll always have an occupation to fall back on, because these are occupations that even if unemployment rates go down, even if job losses happen, people will never be unemployed if you are a doctor, because you can start your own clinic, right? And you can, and you or no one you or if you're a lawyer, you can start your own firm, or if you're an accountant, they're very safe and very traditional roles.
And also, it's not only about the stability, it's about it's not about the financial stability, it's also about the status, prestige, right? Not too long ago, about 5 years ago, about 3-4 years ago, my mother was saying, hey, you should have, I was really hoping for you to join the government and become an administrative position. So I could have referred to you as a leader in the government construct, right? I was like now you can't comprehend what they say, because that's what a successful profession or success of a man or a woman drawn in their head from the colonial days, right? It's unfortunate. And on the other side, I wanted to be a CEO, and I had, from the day one, from the first job, I always felt that, okay, I can do that job, my manager's job, very easily. And I could do my manager's job as well. I always felt that. I always felt my position, I outgrow it in a couple of months, very quickly. And I want to move to the next one, right? I always wanted to be okay, or particularly, Shivan, and he's an exceptionally capable man, and he's a senior executive, a very senior executive in one of the top companies in Colombo. And I was like, okay, you're the channel head. I think I can be the channel head as well, because I felt that I had that drive and the capability.
It's not pride. You felt that you had the aptitude and
I had the aptitude.
Or you had willingness to learn. You had the eagerness and willingness to learn.
Yeah, willingness and the aptitude, right? So I was like, okay, now am I getting the opportunity?
That insatiable quest for learning, it works in your favor if you really like to learn and you want to develop yourself and you're committed to growth. Is that when you work for like an organization or people that invest in knowledge into you, you can absorb it so quickly, and you can put your potential like in a good format that it will propel you to be in a leadership role in a very short period of time.
Very short period of time.
So there's not many that have that ability to translate those skills over.
Usually I take about 2 to 3 months, right? 2 to 3 months, I'm very quiet. I'm just very observant. I keep learning. I learn things around me. I learn about, learn about people, their behaviors, what they do, what their leadership styles are, what their strategies are, how they conduct themselves, how they come up with strategies, and how the management behave. Because I always ask myself, how can I be you, which is the CEO typically, right? I was in voluntary organizations, Interact Club and Rotary Club. The Rotary Club is a good spot for leadership growth. And the first question I always asked, in a meeting was, how can I be the district representative, which is the country representative? And I asked that question, and I had that thirst, hunger to go up to the top. And I didn't want to call myself. And then I got the job. I got my university. I was able to get into University of Peradeniya for physics and mathematics. And I'm no mathematician. I'm no physicist. But I liked it. I liked it only after I started teaching it. And it was like eye-opening, because it was like, oh, wow, this is so insightful, is so scientific. Things are so scientific, that which I really despised during my university days for the most part, until I started teaching while I was in the university. And I want to get in the university just because I needed 3 letters behind my name, BSc, right? That's what I did. And it was about getting the paper qualification, because I knew that education cannot pave the path to me to the destination where I want to be, right? However, ironically, that education, that analytical, mathematical, scientific approach, the academic approach, really paved the path to where I am right now, or where I'm going right now. That's not something that I was expecting from that university. Very academic, very theory-based university. Not a lot of practicality within Sri Lankan university systems at that time, at least, even though they are very highly rated around the world. But they did not have that. They did not have that the practical aspect or management aspect. And I took management and economics as my supplementary subjects, because I knew that I didn't have to really study. I knew, they were teaching certain frameworks, some theories, which I didn't understand any of. In most cases, I didn't want to really pay attention, but I got A's because I was like, this is my thing. So I was more of a manager, like a management, or a business person, as opposed to a physicist or chemist, mathematician. Now that education, that approach definitely helped me to learn what I want to know, to be where I want to be. That's a different story. So technology is that I loved technology. The small town that I am from, even though it's small, it's very, at that time, technologically very advanced.
Yeah.
For some reason, maybe the education system, maybe the exposure, somehow buddies around me, my school friends, they had computers at home, and they were doing video games, and they're doing different things, like trying 3D and Maya and software, like things like the software called Maya, 3D Max, I think there's another one, things like that, to use create cartoon characters, 3D rendering, creating websites. They were
what
using.
What did you do, Waruna, when you were really small? Like, what was your favorite hobbies? What did you do when you were a kid?
I don't even remember. I don't think I had a hobby per se. I was
interested in these things, or were you interested in playing cricket? What did you do as a child?
Nothing. I don't. Nothing is striking. Nothing nothing is coming up into my mind, because I haven't done anything. I haven't done any. I was too I would say not very brave enough to go into cricket, right? I thought I was not a good cricketer. I wanted to be in the cadet band, more for a military type of a training, which I was, which school was doing really well of. I didn't go there because I thought it was too tough. Hockey, for field hockey, our school, high school, is the best in the country, still it is. And everyone asked me, did you go to this St. Thomas's Marthalee? Yeah, did you play hockey? I said, no. Oh, wow, how come you entered the school and didn't play hockey, right? It's like that. But I didn't play hockey because I thought I couldn't fit into that, circles. And I'm not from the town. the city limits. I have to take the bus to go home. But
were your parents strict? They wanted you to study a lot.
100%
study, very strict.
They want me to study. They want me to study for sure. And my father is an educated person. He was general manager for a kind of a small grocery chain, cooperative-based grocery chain, general manager for region at the time, and then he became a school teacher, principal, later principal. He retired as a principal. My mother is also very educated. She didn't do a job though. She was, of course, taking care of the kids, and obviously we had a business on the side, and she was running that as well, like manufacturing and delivery of herbal products, and that was it. And we didn't have. My parents wanted me to be. They wanted me to be a typical, traditionally successful person, like a doctor, engineer.
Yeah.
They didn't even know a software engineer at the time, right?
Did you have a lot of experiences? Like, did you get to go out a lot with your?
No. Only thing I did the most was, I took the bus with my grandfather, or sometimes I go with my uncles in their car, going to Colombo and see Colombo just to get the experience. I like that vibe. I like the vibrance. I always loved that. I really tried to get out of the comfort zones and go into get that experience, obviously. So it's more of a suburban area. But the city that I was, we always go to had or internet or schools were great. Again, they're low to middle to upper middle class. There's nothing wow about it. There were no millionaires or billionaires around. It's an average town. But there was always this thing about this city. The people aspire to be better.
Okay.
They always aspire to be technologically advanced. Pretty much about 20-30% of my friends are software developers, engineers, or web related type of work, or technology.
And do you think that comes from the fact of that they were absent a lot of the technology, so they really strive to be in technology so that it would provide like some sort of development for their experience? Because
I think it was about the education system was pretty good. It gave not this technological experience or anything like that, but that exposure, and created that community, or it created that environment for technological advancement and exploration technologically.
So how did you develop your soft skills?
Soft skills? When it comes to, sorry, what do you mean by soft skills?
So like your social skills, your ability to
Interact Club. That is, I have to give credit to that club. It's the Rotary organization, Rotary International, and then you have Rotaract, which is for the young professionals from 20 to 30 or 32, I think, and until age 18 or so, you are in Interact clubs, and that is something really changed my life. And my parents didn't like it because it was taking too much of my time, and that it was very, everyone was joking English speaking, and they were getting the opportunity to travel around the world, India, Malaysia, things like, countries like that, to attend conferences. That was like, wow. I remember because my father used to travel, and it was like, okay, I can also do it, right? And I didn't have the money. I didn't have the necessary funding, or my parents tried, but of course, it's costly. They couldn't afford to send me to India. I couldn't. So there was that environment that was conducive to technological advancement. I never thought of until today that city, Manatale, is such a city that created that foundation for a lot of people, and people became so explorative. They became engineers. They became PhDs. They did software development, startups, all of that from that innovation culture, creative.
And do you think that their upbringing in a very environmental place where there's like a lot of lush greenery, and their experiences in nature and their ability to be more curious and in maybe a little bit more inquisitive had brought them to a place where they really strived and maybe really was, whereas when they were older, to want to bridge that into a bigger goal and impact?
Possibly because the town.
But how often did you get to go to places? You've been all over Sri Lanka, correct?
The surroundings of my town, it was lush greenery. It's very beautiful. Very backwards in a way, like economic development wise, it's backwards. But the people wise, they're so advanced.
Right.
They spoke
the literacy
English.
Rates, the literacy
very high.
Very high.
One of the best high schools is in the city.
What do you think being raised there, the reasons for high literacy rates are? What are the reasons that in an underdeveloped area such as yourself, where there's not a lot of technology, and you're saying many of the kids ended up in technology when they grew up? Look at how different that is. Look at how we're raising our kids right now with iPads. And I really don't, and this is where I find a disagreement in terms of shoving more technology in kids to produce in them a love for technology. I think that's the complete opposite. I think you take away and remove technology from kids, and they yearn later on to want to get to know how to make technology, and they become more innovative as a result and a consequence of not having much. I think it's the opposite. This is my belief system, because when I look at nations across the world, such as Sri Lanka, and I hear people like you talking, and I was Canadian born and you were Sri Lankan born, and there's such a difference in the cultivation of how we were raised in two different, like same culture, but two distinctly different perspectives. And while you were in those areas of a lush green environment, we had televisions and we were sitting in front of the TV, and it didn't really give us that opportunity to want to be connected to technology at a young age. Actually, it produced like more of a disinterest because it was so readily available. So maybe that quest comes from an absence of having something, and also you having a different environment that was lacking in some regard. And the grass is always greener on the other side. People want what they cannot have.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Sixcast. We'd love to connect with you, so feel free to comment or reshare. You can also find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn at Six Senses. Bye for now.